Hey guys, Sublord here, back in with another action figure review, and today I'm very excited to be taking a look at the Mythic Legion's Skeleton Legion Builder 2, not version 2, not 2.0 or Deluxe, just Skeleton Legion Builder 2. This is of course brought to us by the fine folks over at Horsemen Studios and was quote-unquote recently offered, I mean it was a few weeks ago, during their in-stock sale around Comic-Con season. I was lucky enough to get in when the sale dropped, and I actually snagged two of these guys, for those of you who didn't pay attention to the URL as you clicked on this video to hear my 2 cents on this figure, because long story short, I freaking love these. I wish I had more. If I didn't have to buy a freaking Skullman, I probably would have, but more on Skullman tomorrow, because today we're not talking about him, we're talking about the Skeleton Legion Builder 2. So before we get too far ahead of ourselves, why don't we cut right to the chase and get into the meat and taters of this review and take a look-see at all our friendly neighborhood skeleton has to offer in terms of accessories, starting off with a pair of grip hands. I can grab stuff right here. There you go. Just gonna pair of grip hands there. They have the incorrect hinge for holding weapons, oddly enough, and they are also the hands that come packaged on the figure when you bust them open. That said, he also has a pair of skeleton fist hands. That said, you could slide something thin through there, maybe like a dagger. I know they have those little curved daggers in Legions that you could easily fit through there if you wanted to. But they are hinged the same way as the other hands. So that's cool. You get a pair of fists. And then you get a pair of what I like to call the booger picking hands. But they are pointy finger hands. Again, they have the same hinge as the other hands. So far, anyways. The hands on him have a different hinge, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But he does come with a pair of those. Now, I thought he was supposed to come with a pair of open hands. I didn't see those. So either I got the shaft with both of mine, or I'm a dummy and I missed them. That said, we do get the strap, but it's a different kind of strap. We first saw this with, is it Iasepatam from Cosmic Legions, or as I like to call him, Iasepa something or other. Because God forbid the Horsemen give their figures normal names like Joe, Chuck, Billy Bob, or I don't know, Ralph. But it's a new strap, new-ish. It's got more detail on it. And I like this strap. I think this is fine for this figure. It's a bit of an accoutrement, if you will. We do also get the standard sword, although it feels longer than usual. But if I'm not mistaken, this is a very typical Mythic Legion sword. We see it with a lot of knights and a lot of characters in general, especially from the first 30 or so figures from the initial Kickstarter that helped kickstart, no pun intended, this line. Same with the spear. Got a million of these freaking things by now. Kind of hoping they were going to start using that Vorgus Vermilius version 2 spear with the swappable topper, but he's the only figure that has that. I thwacked my review set with that. And we also have the shield. This is a smaller shield. If I'm not mistaken, a lot of the elf characters come with this, or female characters. It's not like the gladiator shield that's like almost twice as big. It does have a handle on the back that you can remove. I will say the handle is not particularly tight, but I guess that's not a bad thing. If you get one that's loose and just refuses to stay on, then just super glue it, I guess. It's not like you're going to need to turn it anyways. But there you go. There is the shield with the handle and whatnot. So why don't we take a closer look at our Skelly here. And of course the Horsemen rock the sculpt in paint. He looks fantastic. He's a little bit brighter of a bone color, almost white, but not white. But very clean, we'll say. He doesn't look doity or anything like that. And should be worth noting that he is a different shade as compared to the Maxilius the Harvester skeleton and the skeletons coming out in the Necronominous wave. I think those are a little darker, whereas this guy's a little brighter. Maybe we'll see that version released like this guy later on, but for now, we just have this guy, and I'm okay with that. You can see also, he's a little bulkier than a skeleton probably should be, right? But, you know, this is fiction, so that makes sense. But as far as articulation goes, his head can look up all the way. You can bury the chin. He's got good tilt. Hinged jaw. His shoulders will go out to the side. About that far. Now I will tell you the ribs here are softer pieces, but they are pretty stiff still. Same with this up here. I don't know what you call that exactly. But they are not attached to anything, some of these pieces. So you don't gotta be as cautious when you're moving the arm around. But just be wary of that. You don't want to snap anything. Because you can see as I'm rotating this, it is kind of shifting the ribs around, but they're not attached to anything. You can see I can lift them up with my nail there. So that's just normal. It feels weird, as if he's alive, but I assure you he's not. It's just, these are separate pieces, they're not attached to nothing. And I think that's the best they can do for that. Elbows give you a little bit more 90 degrees, as well as some rotation. The wrist can rotate, of course, and he does actually have the correct hinge for holding weapons on these grip hands, which are the hands I use. So that is awesome. His torso can lean that far forward, not very far, that far back. He does rotate. He does have a bit of tilt. I would say the tilt is probably better than the lean forward and back, but I could be wrong. And it is a little bit, it's got some loose points to it, but nothing egregious. You know, he's not super Flopodopoulos. It does have some stick to it. And I'm kind of okay with that because this is a PVC piece all the way up to the ball peg. It's not like some of the neck pegs where the neck is sculpted and attached to the torso, but the neck peg itself is a separate piece that's pegged in to the top. That is not the case here. I think maybe that would be a good idea moving forward, but it's thick enough PVC. I don't think you got to worry about breaking anything. So moving this arm out of the way. His legs will kick out to the side really far. Like way past 90. His hip is a little loose on mine, but not enough to replace it. And they can kick forward and back really well. Let me pop that down. There you go. And then you can kick back pretty far as well. The knee will bend this far. So a little bit past 90. And get more than that. No, that's about as far as you'll get. Then you can also rotate at the calf there, or below the knee. Works better when you bend it, just because there's nothing in the way. And then he has the ball hinge ankles that can rotate, hinge, and tilt. And that's your lot. He does have peg holes, surprisingly enough, on his heels. So if you want to put him on a figure stand, you could. But, yeah, man, a very solid figure. It should be worth noting that the shoulder pegs are 1.0 compatible. I think the torso might be, but since the peg is all the way up in the chest and not the waist, I don't know what you could possibly pop and swap this torso onto. Maybe somebody out there can figure something out. But the shoulder pegs, the neck peg, elbow pegs, wrist pegs, hip pegs, knee pegs, and even the pegs going into the feet are all 1.0, but the pegs going into the legs that give you that rotation for the hinge and the foot. Those are thinner than your typical 1.0 peg, so you'd have to heat up the skeleton feet and swap them onto a ball hinge with a bigger peg on it to get it to fit on, say, an armored leg, we'll say. But I love this freaking thing. This figure's great. This is definitely a figure of the year. And what a year for skeleton figures in general, man. We got, what is it? The Danny Ketch Ghost Rider from Hasbro. Now we got this. It's like, come on, man. What more could you possibly ask for? Oh, you want to see this guy all kitted out? But you don't want to wait for me to do it? Well, then there you go. Told you I bought 2 of them. If you thought I was lying, well then, joke's on you, sucker! Bam! There he is right there. With the strap, the sword, the shield, and the spear. Definitely looks like something out of Jason and the Argonauts. And I know a lot of fellow Legionnaires out there are big Ray Harryhausen fans. But for me, someone of my generation, you know, late 90s, early 2000s, these guys give me Spy Kids Island of Lost Dreams vibes, so I can't help but want a little Carmen and Judy Cortez to go along with these skeletons at some point anyways. That'd be pretty awesome if NECA or somebody made figures based off that franchise. But given the fact that I'm still waiting for something like Skeleton Warriors and Mummies Alive, and we're stuck getting Cowboys of Moo Mesa and Cops and Crooks, that's probably not going to happen for a while. So, with that being said, my wish lists and whatnots aside, I think it is time now that we move right along and take a look at some size comparisons. First up, and I've decided to go a little bit above and beyond for the size comparisons in regards to our friendly neighborhood Skeleton Legion Builder 2 here. So here he is alongside a McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse figure, the Nightfall Batman to be specific, and a Marvel Legends figure, the Scarlet Spider. So you can get a gist of how he scales across multiple lines. Personally, I think he scales better with Legends, because Legions, while it is a bit on the taller side of 6-inch, it tends to lean 6-inch, whereas you can see this Batman is a little bit taller in comparison. So getting them out of here so we can bring in the Super 7 Thundercats Ultimates Lion-O, who I finally managed to find the hand to after all this time, as well as a Mattel Masterverse. This is the 40th anniversary He-Man with the 87 movie He-Man's alternates, more classic looking head on it. And once again, you can see that he scales a little bit better with the Super 7 Ultimates and the Mattel Masterverse, which also tend to lean a little bit on the taller side of 7-inch. So there you go. That said, who says skeletons have to be any given size, right? That said, of course, also have our 2 regulars. Brother Mandibulus, a fellow bonehead from the Mythic Legions line, Advent of Decay to be exact. Of course, he might be a little bit taller due to his armor, but that should give you an idea of how our new skeleton compares to an armored figure. I mean, it's either going to be him or the Valiant Knight, and, well, I have a reputation to uphold as far as having Bro Man in all my videos, so obviously I went with him. And then, of course, we have the infamous 11 Spawn, despite the fact we already saw our new Skelly with a McFarlane figure. Again, I have a reputation to uphold where I bring out 11 Spawn in all my videos. And of course, as usual, he towers over everyone. So, with that being said, it's time now that we wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, I'm going to try and keep this brief. I love these figures. They are freaking fantastic. in every sense of the word. And they are definitely going to be figures of the year, without a doubt. And if the Horsemen offer these figures up again during an in-stock sale on their website, I am 99.98% sure I'm going to be picking up 2 more every time. I say that because nothing in life is certain, except death and taxes. But what is certain is that these figures are flippin' amazing, and you are definitely going to start feeling the FOMO if you didn't pick any up like yours truly. Because again, you can do a heck of a lot worse for $26, I assure you. So, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later.